Today I'm going to try to remove this motor from the frame. This way I can set it upright and do something with this piston. It doesn't look like it's very difficult to do. Just gone through the book. It says I need to remove this footrest, I need to remove the brake, I need to disconnect this ignition wire, pull it up through here. There's a couple of bolts, I guess, down here. Obviously remove the chain because that's going to be in the way. And then coming around here we have 1, 2, it looks like 3, and then one on the other side. I don't see anything else according to the instructions. That's pretty much it. Those 4 bolts. Once I disconnect everything, I should be able to drop the motor. So what I'm going to do is take this off of this lift, set it down on the wheels, and then I'll use this this lift here as a way to kind of lower the motor down. Right now, you know, it's kind of supporting the bike as well as the exhaust. You can see I have some standoffs there with some wood. This way it allowed us to turn the wheel. I don't really need to do that for this, so let me reset. I went and cleaned up my bench a little bit. Very convenient. The clip is right there where it's easy to get to. I should be able to pop that out relatively easy and disconnect these, but I'm going to need both hands. Alright, I'm going to put you down over here. Yeah, that was a lot harder than it should have been, but what do you expect? It's an old bike. Okay, there we go. On a neutral. Okay. Now the question is, do I really need to remove this whole brake assembly? Looks like this bolt, I don't know if this goes all the way through. If it does, then this whole thing would come out and it would drop. That leaves us with 2 bolts, 1, 2, 3 on the other side, and then nothing up front. So I'm going to attempt it. Remember, red on the bottom, white on the top. Looks like these are crimped on after they got put in here. They're not going to fit. I'll have to crimp new connectors on there, I guess. So let me cut these. It doesn't fit through the case. Alright, here's your ignition. Let's go around the other side. Alright, I'm going to take this nut off and that nut. I'll take all three of these off. But it says not to take the bolt out until you're ready to drop the engine. So this looks like it might be a 17. I think we might be spinning that in there. I might have to spray these down. Another connector I might have to take off. We'll deal with that later. Okay, this one's coming off. Or is it also just turning? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to spray those down with some blaster and let it sit for a good 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'm going to come back. Because these are just spinning the whole thing, so I'm going to have to clamp on the other side, but these are pretty rusted, so let me spray them with some blaster. Alright, I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Okay, I got my 17mm sockets and wrench, the box wrench here. So let me go ahead and see if I can grab it on the other side. That won't fall off as I'm doing this. So. That was quite smooth. All right. Okay, now this is bolt 18. Actually, it's bolt 18 on the other side, but the book doesn't really say whether this is a shaft that goes all the way through. It just says remove the bolt and remove the footrest. The footrest isn't really in the way, but I'm going to go ahead and remove it anyway because I get a bigger wrench here. Oh my goodness, that's not moving. Okay. That's not moving. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. This is the lower engine mount bolt. That's one on either side. That came out with some difficulty. This has to push through because this frame is pretty solid on either side, so this has to be a shaft. Let's see if I can push it through with a hammer here. Really lightly tap it. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm going to tap it from the other side. Easy. Okay, that could have been easier, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and pop these out. Now this piece here goes to the circuit breaker down in here, which is this. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, disconnect this wire, and that should hopefully get me in a bit. I'm probably going to have to cut this as well, because it doesn't look like that's going to fit through, but that's okay because I've got plenty of line here. I'm going to pop that off of there. Actually, I'm just going to reach in and snip that. Okay. The last two things holding the engine in place should just be these two bolts at the top. I'm going to go ahead and pull those out and see if I can get the engine down. Looks like we're low on battery, so I might lose you here. Now, we got this supporting the engine. I'm going to go ahead and lift it a little bit just to give it full tension. Pop these out, and that really should be it. I mean, it should come out after that. And we'll find out. There she goes. Okay. I did not drain the crankcase, so let me put this up. I get oil that's going to be coming out, which I already see some. This. There we go. I got some oil leaking. That's okay. That's just coming from the crankcase. This engine's coming out relatively easy, so I just keep lowering this. Okay. Let me put this back because I'm going to need both arms to take this out of here. And what I'm going to do is set it straight down into this so that we can just drain all that oil straight out of it. Once all the oil's drained, I'll put it upright and then see what we can do with the cylinder and the piston. Just going to go around the other side just to make sure I don't have anything attached. Yep, looks good. Okay. So, let's slide this back. Wow, yeah, here we go. Good old black stinky oil. Well, I guess I can clean this now. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to go over it with a scrub brush and get all these nooks and crannies, put some oil in here. Like I said, you know, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole where I'm spending plenty of time refurbishing every nut and bolt and piece, because, you know, you have a shiny part and then a rusty part. They don't look good together. You need either rusty or shiny. I can call it patina. Anywho, you can get that motor out without me breaking my back. Alright, one motor, vertical on the floor. Here's the head. So what I'm going to fill this up with a Rappo rust. I did this to a gas tank and it basically made it look brand new. So before I go in and start hitting this up with any kind of abrasive or scratching it up, same thing here, I'm going to pour it in. It should go around the edges, which is where it needs to be. And I don't think you need a lot, but it should help dissolve a lot of that rust. Whatever gets down into the crankcase, well, you know, hopefully we can drain all that out and clean it. So, alright, stand by. Do a controlled pour. So let's just set this here. This way, any problems, it'll just. So I put the spark plug back in it too, so it'll hold. Hopefully this will actually hold liquid, because if it doesn't, then we know we're going through valves. Okay, let this sit for a couple days, see what happens. This stuff is great too, because you can get it on your fingers, it doesn't hurt you. You can dump it down the toilet, it doesn't hurt the environment. And it's just iron, it comes out of the ground. Alright. Okay, so see what this does. I'll come back in a couple of days. I'll just set this up on the bench. Yeah. This little bit got down into the motor through that hole in the middle, but I think we'll be alright because it's around the edges. I'll let that do its thing. It could take a few days. What I'm hoping is that it'll dissolve the rust that's around the edges there and then seep down and dissolve it in there. That way, once that rust is dissolved, that should just come out. without me having to really chisel it. I don't want to chisel it because I'm hoping that I can still use the cylinder. I don't want to end up marring up this to get it so bad. I thought that there was a sleeve in there, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't. Unless this is the sleeve, but I don't know. We'll find out. The same thing here. We're not leaking anything through the valves, which is a good sign. So maybe just cleaning the rust off of them. Then I could take them out. I could reseat them, not with a. What I mean by reseat, I could just put the grinding compound and back and forth until they get nice and smooth to seal them up. Can avoid the $1,000 charge it'll be to get these things refurbished, because I don't think it's really worth going through that. Who knows? Maybe I can find somebody with a backyard lathe. So for now, I think that's going to be it. I'm going to let this sit for a couple days. Probably not going to do any work on this today. It's Friday. We have rain yesterday, rain tomorrow, so maybe I can get out on the Road King, get some lunch. We'll see. Oh, it looks like it's working a little bit. Let this sit for another day or so. It's only been in there overnight.